Hello, and welcome to Transformation to 5D. My name is Marie Ramsey. The purpose of this podcast is to help you transition from the old world into the new world that is opening up now. My job as a guide is to give you the tools, the strategies, and mentor you through the process. And that is the purpose of all the work that I do. I've not always been doing this. I came into this in 2019 when suddenly I decided that the old world was not where I wanted to be. And I started receiving messages and information that helped me go through my own transformation. My transformation has been incredible. In only a few years, I have managed to completely change my health, my perspective, and let go of all of the anxiety and depression that I used to suffer. I'm hoping to help you do this. And all the work that I do is to give you the tools and the strategies and the support that you need for this process. Why is this necessary? Well, the story that I was told is that the old world is ending and we are splitting into two worlds. This began with COVID. It may have begun before that, but COVID was the big awakener. It was where everyone had to stop and notice what was going on. Before that, we were too busy. We were trapped in busyness, trapped in survival mode, trying to make ends meet, trying to just get through life. But then COVID stopped the world, and it was deliberate. It was part of the process of the awakening. Out of that, ever since then, we have been noticing more and more exposure of corruption, of things that we thought and assumed were being taken care of. But now we realize they weren't being taken care of in our interests. They're being taken care of in the interests of the few. And I'll refer to them as the elite. The elite are a group that have placed power above everything else, but we'll get to that later. First of all, let's understand we have been in an era of patriarchy. Patriarchy has many wonderful things. When we look at our father in the past, our father was the protector of the family. He was the person we looked up to for guidance. He was the wisdom. He was the one we went to when we felt sad and sorry and wanted a hug. Our father was someone we admired and respected. He was benevolent. That was the patriarchy in its best state. The patriarchy in its worst state is the man who is abusive, the man who dominates, who is angry, who creates awful crimes against other people because he is projecting his own anger and frustration on the world. It is the man who is fighting for power and doesn't care who he harms in the process. The man who wants to accumulate as much money as he can and is ready to destroy the world to get it. He really doesn't care. It's all about the money. It is the man who thinks that he is the most important in the family, who suppresses everyone else, especially women and children, who uses them to get what he wants, who treats them as servants and slaves, who controls and manipulates to get what he wants. This is the narcissistic version of the patriarchy. The one who has forgotten how to love. The one who doesn't think anyone else has any value. The one who thinks that only what he wants is important, and he sees everyone in the world as a means to get it. That is the patriarchy that we have become. Not all of the world is like this, but a lot of it is dominating us. If you look at the way politics has become a means of buying votes, manipulating the people into being dependent upon their policies so they can adjust their policies just to get votes. Keeping you poor, keeping you at a financial crisis level where you're just existing. COVID showed us that many people could not go without a week's wage, that they were living from week to week without any reserves. And they were dependent upon the government to keep that status quo for them, or they would go into financial crisis. Finance is one way that they control us. The banking system is completely corrupted to facilitate profits, and it's become a gambling game for them. They don't care if they make losses because it is now deregulated, and they can just write it off and start the game again. It's like playing a high-stakes poker game. They make their losses, they start a new game with new money that they have created from you. The thing to understand is that they don't care about you. They don't care about the average person. They are just playing games. We saw it with the crash of the financial markets in the past, and there is another crash coming because they keep playing these games with money without any consideration of the consequences. We see it with our legal system, where it's very hard to get a fair go in the legal system now. It's a toxic world where the lawyers are making a lot of money at the expense of the person who's just trying to get a fair go. Where people are going to jail and then finding out later that they were framed or innocent. Where people who are criminals are not going to jail, but are walking away scot-free because they had the money to pay for the lawyers that could create a technicality to get them off, or bribe, or lack of evidence that disappears, or all the other versions of corruption that we see. Our legal system is failing us. Our health system is failing us. The pandemic of anxiety, depression, the amount of stress in our world. There are so many causes behind that, major one being the poor nutrition of our food. The toxic chemicals in everything that we eat, drink and breathe. How can our bodies function if they're not in a healthy environment, if they're constantly under stress? If you're in survival mode, fighting for financial survival, emotional survival, physical survival. The constant story of fear that we are told through the newspapers and the media. There are wars going on around the world, but we are told them in our media as if it is we are in the war. We are experiencing the stress of that war. Firstly, those wars are not necessary. They are created for many political and financial gain reasons. Secondly, they should not be our day-to-day media. They are happening elsewhere. There are more important things going on in our world than those wars. And I do not mean to be cold, but when someone creates a tragedy and then sticks it in your face every day to make you feel as if you are anxious about that tragedy, they're manipulating you. They're distracting you from what is important in your life. So the first part of awakening is to look at all of that. There are many conspiracy theories, and in fact most of those are not conspiracy theories, they are true stories. True stories of corruption, manipulation, distortion of facts to create a story that they need to be in charge and you need to obey. What does a narcissist do? The narcissist tells you that he knows best, and if you disagree with him, he will punish you. He is the dictator. He is the one working for his own interests. We have seen many narcissists. Most of our society has become narcissistic. How do you get what you want? You dominate another person. You intimidate them until they give in. You gaslight them, making them think that they are in the wrong and you're in the right. Narcissistic behaviour has become so common in our society. Marketing uses it constantly to make people feel fat, ugly, stupid, a failure, unless they buy what is being sold. You are not good enough, according to marketing. You can only improve if you follow what they say. You must be a slave, obedient, compliant, or you have no value in their world. If you do not wear their goods, behave the way they tell you, eat what they tell you, listen to what they tell you, then there is no place in this world for you, because they have created a norm of toxic behavior. And so you do it to others to survive. You treat others as if they're not good enough. You judge, you shame. You make someone feel guilty, so they give in to you. To get what you want. You manipulate all the time to get what you want, because this is the way it's done. Everyone else is doing it. Why shouldn't you? Do we want that as our normal? Do we really want to live in that environment where everybody is manipulating, controlling, dominoing that awful toxic behaviour down onto others? The parent has it done to them at work. They come home and do it to the children. Workers getting it from their boss. It goes down the line until the poor child at the end is traumatised. And they become little narcissists very early. Because that's the way to survive. And if you don't want to survive like that, then you turn to drugs. You turn to other things as a coping mechanism. The stress becomes anxiety and depression. The anxiety and depression becomes addictions. The addictions are people opting out because they don't want to be narcissists. They don't want to live in a narcissistic society, but they don't know how to change it. You change it by building your own strength, building your own resilience, and standing up and saying no, by setting boundaries. And that is part of the courses that I have created to teach you how to love yourself and to say no. And so everybody needs to learn to love themselves and to say no to the toxic behaviours around them, so they can let go of the toxic behaviours in themselves. The main thing to understand is, what happens to me happens to you. Maybe not today, but at some stage it could. So if good things are happening to me, they could happen to you. If bad things are happening to me, they could happen to you. So as a community, let's get rid of the bad and create more of the good. That is how we change the world. That is how we transition and move into the new world. We don't have to do it alone. The group of Soul World that created COVID, our creators, are also creating changes in energy, changes in people and their behaviors. You will find that more and more people are waking up. More and more people are saying, no, it's not good enough. We don't want to live like that. There is an energetic shift happening. The energetic shift is creating the pathway to the new world. What I was shown was we will move through a portal into the new world. But to move through that portal, you have to let go of the toxicity that belongs in the old world. You have to let go of the beliefs that it has to be like that. The beliefs that it's okay to harm someone else. The fear that controls your decision making and your behaviors. Letting go of all of that is how you move through the portal into the new world. And a lot of guidance and assistance is being provided to help you with that. So if you want to come on this journey, subscribe and like, and I will continue the story. Thank you, and I hope you join me on this transformation to 5D. My name is Marie Ramsey. My website for my courses is www.wisdomoflove.academy. And my website for services and other information on how to transform and let go of your trauma is www.transformation5D.com. You'll find them in the description below. Thank you. Hello, I'm Marie Ramsey. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, a resource therapist, and a counsellor. I specialise in trauma healing because trauma is the basis of anxiety, depression, and most mental and physical illnesses. It is what blocks us from becoming the healthy, happy person, full of love, joy, and abundance. And so it is important to heal trauma in the transformation process. You can book sessions with me if you would like through my website transformation5D.com. They're available online via Zoom and face-to-face in Brisbane, Australia. I'm also a quantum healing hypnosis practitioner in the Dolores Cannon style, and this is available face-to-face in Brisbane, Australia. It is a process of regressing into past lives, then talking to the higher self, and then bringing in the white lights for healing. It is an incredible experience, the quantum healing process. I am running courses on my Wisdom of Love Academy, and they are available self-paced or via Zoom in groups. In future, I'll be running workshops and retreats in different places around the world. And so if you would like to keep up to date with what is happening, subscribe to my newsletter so I can let you know the latest. I'm also willing to work with other people if they would like me to come and talk in their organisations or to run workshops and retreats with them in partnership. I hope that you are finding this podcast helpful, and if there is more topics that you would like me to cover or questions that you have, please put them in the comments or email them to me so that I can answer that in future podcasts. Together we are creating a healing community that is going to be able to transform into the new world of 5D, of love, joy, and abundance. I welcome you to this community, and I hope that you come on this journey with us of transformation so that you too can pass through the portal into the new world. Thank you. Take care.